So those are the things I really had to think about and think about why I do the job. Is it am I doing this basketball job just to be identified as successful because I never made it as an athlete? Is that more of why I'm doing it, or is it actually to impact the people I'm working for?
I can totally relate.
That's a very mature question.
Welcome to the Created to Be podcast. We're excited to be back for another week, and we have a special guest with us today, and we'll get to him in just a moment. But of course, I'm Bethany, here to help host with my other host, Justin Pygott, my husband.
Hey.
And Darius Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
AKA Doc. And we also have Jay Z with us. I am not going to try to say your last name, but you're more than welcome to tell the audience what your last name is.
Yeah, so technically speaking, if you're talking like an American, you'd say Zbieszkowski. But if you want to be authentic Polish and say it the true way, we'll say Zbieszkowski.
Ooh.
But it sounds a little too crazy in the States, so we just
I like
kind
that.
of Americanized our last name a little bit. The way
we can
say
end right there. That is.
So Zbieszkowski?
Yeah, that's the
Sorry, I'm
easy
laughing.
to understand version of it. So that's what I go by.
As a Texan or a Zbieszkowski.
Well, that's why I will stick to Jay Z.
Yeah.
Yep, it's always been the nickname or one of the many nicknames.
Yeah, Justin already asked him to rap today. We're so glad to have you here today. And last week we talked about becoming rooted. Taylor Pitts came to FCA and did a great job talking about that. And then we've asked you to speak, which you would have, by the time this comes out, you would have already spoken last night, if you will. And you picked becoming secure. So we're going to get into that later. But we want to just talk about real quick the luncheon. As of the time this comes out, we will have already done the luncheon.
Yes.
So we're going to pretend like we already did the luncheon. How'd it go, Justin?
Oh, it went great.
We sold all the items.
Yeah.
We made a bunch of money for FCA.
Yes.
Darius did a great job on the coaches Q&A.
Great job. Great job.
The best coaches panel
Ever
had across the entire FCA world. So we are recording in advance, so this will come out after. So we're just
speaking it into existence.
That's right. We'll appreciate listening back to this after we
Can't wait for next year.
Yeah, exactly. Join us again. And then again, we have the pickleball tournament May 2nd. So just want to remind you, we're going to just keep talking about that. But that's our next event, which is going to be.
And Darius knows what pickleball is.
I
this
know
week.
what pickleball is now.
Yeah.
I may probably just sponsor a team. I'm not going to play.
Would you sponsor me and Justin?
I will.
Okay.
I'm going to sponsor y'all a team. Yes.
I was like,
and
mixed
that way,
doubles.
yes, I need. Hold up.
Oh, no.
Are y'all good?
Justin? I mean, I'm okay. I can keep us in the game. I can do the, but Justin is the star.
I got confidence in y'all.
I got to get my back
I got
right.
confidence.
Oh, yeah, that too. But it's okay.
Yeah, I got confidence. I'm going to sponsor y'all.
Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Darius.
I'm going to be out there
We'd
like
to
Coach,
thank
Coach K. I'm going to be out there like, we need to get shirts made and everything.
everything.
JB.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it.
JB on the front and Coach Doc on the back.
I like it. Look, we won't let you down. He's going to be like, you're going to pay me back if you don't make it past the first round. We'd like to thank Darius Brown for sponsoring us today for the pickleball tournament. Okay, so the thing that we talked about again last week was becoming rooted, and we kind of got into some plant talk at the end. And then at the end, Justin said, we're going to become arborists, or we need to have an arborist on the show, which made me look up, at first I had talked about, did we miss the first day of spring? And yes, we had. I was way past that. That was March something. Yeah. But Arbor Day, do you know when it is?
I do not.
Okay. I know Jay-Z and Justin already filled in because of the show notes.
Well, what was it? April 24th?
Yeah, so it's always the last Friday of April.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what Arbor Day is, Darius?
Again, I do not.
I do not. Darius
As
says
you
this
know,
is a learning podcast.
I'm learning on this podcast just as much as the listeners.
In real time.
In real time.
And I intentionally tell them I prefer if you don't look at the show notes in detail, because I want, a real answer, not a practiced answer or informed answer if you didn't already know. So, Justin, what is Arbor Day?
I mean, it's a day to celebrate trees.
Celebrate.
Hug a tree. No, I mean,
you
normally
could do
it's
that,
a
but
day that a lot of planting goes on too, and it tends to be a thing. I remember as a kid in elementary school for Arbor Day, they'd all give us a tree. Like they gave
your
us
whole
like a
school?
little pine tree. Yeah, and everybody leaves with a tree, and so you go home and plant
at
it at
home.
your house.
Wow.
Somewhere. And then I remember planting my tree, and it was great, and then I accidentally mowed over my tree when I was doing yard work and forgot it was there. So
forgot it was there.
it happens.
Okay, so for the stretch time today, that's going to be our topic. I just felt like we should, since this is actually coming out the week of Arbor Day, that we can talk a little bit about it. Did either of you have that same experience as Justin, where you received a tree?
I was just thinking about how sad my childhood was.
Gosh.
It wasn't as adventurous, to have a. Now I do remember, and I don't know if this was for Arbor Day. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Arbor Day.
Okay, they did give us a plant, and we took it home, put it in the window. It's like you're trying to see.
Yeah, they give you a bean plant. You grow that bean plant.
Yeah, something like that. Put it in the window, but I wasn't really motivated because I want to see it.
Yeah,
I want to
hard.
see the process. To sit there and you put it in the window Monday, and then you go Tuesday morning. It's like nothing has happened. So as a kid, I wasn't as excited.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that was connected to Arbor Day or not.
Yeah, Jay Z, is any of this familiar to you?
I'm pretty sure I got a plant of some kind at some point. I'm not entirely sure, but I would definitely lean towards saying yes, because I feel like that's something my school system would do.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Fishers, Indiana.
Okay.
Suburb of Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean,
Indiana.
surely Indiana, they did
Big
this.
farming up there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
farming in Indiana. So.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
A lot of corn,
See, I'm learning.
soybeans, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, well, we homeschooled much of my elementary grammar school years, so you would think homeschoolers would be all about this, and they probably are, but we didn't really do. My mom's a math teacher, and so we just really didn't. I feel like the science, nature, that kind of stuff, we really just didn't get into.
Well, she didn't like to sweat.
That too.
Well, she said that. So.
Yeah, she doesn't.
I love you, Juju.
Yeah,
We're
yeah. So this is total tangent, but growing up, her rules for what sports we could play were they couldn't be sports that were outside and untimed. Does that make sense? So I wasn't she barely let me play softball one year. Does that make sense?
So untimed, I can get outside. That means track, cross country.
Which I ran cross country, but that's timed. I mean, you would know how long it would take. I don't know that she came, I did track, and that did take a long time.
Gotcha.
But it was scheduled, But a softball game, if you got into extra innings, could go on for a long time.
Yeah.
My only question was she let my sister play tennis. So.
Well, the tournament
Hold
softball
on,
is
was she
all day.
Was she older or younger?
My sister was younger.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You
I was
wear
just gonna say,
you
it
wear
makes
your
sense.
parents down, man.
It makes sense.
The baby gets more access.
Yeah, you started getting a little more open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
So
you got to do more.
you got a lot more.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, so Arbor Day is about trees, but it's about planting trees, but then they expanded it any kind of tree because they tried to make it Sylvan Day. Did you know that? And that means forest tree.
Oh.
Which we know somebody named Sylvan, so
Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't
really
know that.
funny
I was
to
like,
read
Sylvan
that.
Day.
I know, Sylvan Day. If I'm saying that right.
So
that's
are you
his
telling
name.
me I need to go get a tree for Arbor Day
And plant
to
it.
plant it?
That's essentially what Arbor Day people
Tree
want you to do.
Awareness Day.
Yeah,
The
I'm
vital
gonna tell you-
importance of trees in our ecosystem.
Where would I
Yes.
get a tree though to plant? Do I have to go to what you call them? Where the flowers are? The
Nurseries, garden
nursery.
centers. Yeah.
Possibly a tree from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could do that.
You could be a
Lowe's.
fruit tree if you wanted to. For
Yeah, so that's why they
Lowe's, yeah.
they changed it to encompass any kind of tree, not just a forest tree. That's why they
Gotcha.
called it Arbor Day.
They
But-
want to open it up to all trees. Diversity.
No
is
tree left
matters.
behind.
No tree left behind.
So do you know where this started? Anybody? What state? Can you guess?
Michigan,
No.
Ann Arbor. See,
That's what I was thinking.
Nice! That's a great
All right,
guess.
yeah. See, I was
But
My
no.
guess would be California.
No.
Wisconsin.
You were close. You're in the vicinity.
Okay.
Indiana,
Close, I think.
Illinois,
Y'all are all real close.
Ohio.
I was gonna say
Wisconsin.
He already said that, no.
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
This team made the NCAA tournament for the first time, and it was kind of a shock because I was like, they should have been in
Nebraska.
Nebraska. In 1872.
They never made the tournament?
Or no, it was their first win, I think.
Oh, yes, they had
Their first
you're right.
tournament win.
Correction.
I was about to say that was...
Yeah, for a Big Ten
Wow,
team.
yeah, I was like, that's...
Sorry.
Well, I was thinking High Point.
Yes,
get their
first win. Thank you, Jay Z. Yes, because that was shocking to me.
Yes.
But I guess, well, yeah, it was shocking to me. I said Wisconsin, but I was thinking Stanford.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's
they
the
got
Cardinal.
the tree is like their, I was
their
thinking
thing.
something like that, but
Yeah. Well, this guy named J. Sterling Morton, he started this, and his name was Julius, but he just like had this like love for trees, and I just wanted to read this. I'm not gonna like get into major history here. I just thought this was crazy that him and his wife settled on 160 acres that were treeless. No trees. And then he like spread the word about planting trees. He planted an apple orchard, peach, plum, pear trees, cottonwoods, evergreens, all this stuff. Okay, this was the shocking part. Today, the family home, Arbor Lodge, is a state park in Nebraska City. Over the years, this lodge grew from a 4-room home into a 52-room mansion, complete with a terraced garden, a pine grove, and 65 acres of more than 250 varieties of trees and shrubs.
that's. I'm gonna be honest. I got stopped when you said 4-room home into a
50 mansion.
I'm trying to. You know how you try to think how we go from 4 to 52, and then
250 varieties of trees and shrubs
on this.
And this is 65 acres of the 160 treeless acres.
Yeah.
That's like Jesus multiplying the bread.
Man. Man, that's a
crazy.
lot.
That's a lot.
A lot of different trees. And then you got to think, how can you remember those, like, the difference between the tree?
Yeah.
You think about somebody coming over your house and you say, yes, this is a acorn tree. And this is, I think, is a, like, do they have like I guess, is it like a museum setup type thing now?
Well,
I don't
they
know.
have scientific names for each of the trees, and then you learn those. Like I was in plant materials class because I was a turf guy, and so I would go through and we'd learn all the different species, and you learn the scientific names and stuff like that. So,
But an acorn tree is a what?
oak tree,
I just wanted to give you a hard time.
but
Really?
Wait, yeah.
Wait, what?
See, you know what? I think we need to get Jay-Z on the show more.
I mean, it's like
because
I'm
we both
confused, man.
but Jay, this is the reason why I like this, because I'm not by myself. See how you feeling right now? This is my norm. I normally feel this way. I try not to say nothing, but I'm glad to have somebody here that doesn't leave me in the dark.
what about those pine cone
this is
trees,
awesome,
babe?
too.
Those pine cone trees.
Hey,
Bethany's losing it over here.
so
That would be a pine tree.
I want to say this: acorn tree is an oak tree.
Yeah.
I just thought that it was funny that he said whenever you say we learned the scientific name, I wanted to say the scientific name of oak. Anyways, because that's not, anyway.
Yeah, I should have. I should
could've-
remember some scientific names
Yeah.
and start blabbing it out.
Yeah.
But
It's okay, Darius.
I'm
I
glad.
think some other trees besides oak trees have acorns as well. There's some
I had
others,
that.
but
I mean, to be honest, about 6-7 years ago, I don't know. I just put the 2 and 2 together with the oak and the acorn. So
But see, I would have never done that. like I would have never said oak, acorn.
Right.
Like, where's the correlation?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you don't know and somebody
feel
don't
that.
tell you, like you get what I'm saying. Like you speak it and it's like, oh, okay. Now I won't have to. If somebody else said, I can, I will know what they're talking about. But I've never
I'm
would have put that
struggling
together.
to get it together right now.
I know. It's great.
Okay, so
Trees are amazing.
Instead of going to your Lowe's or whatever, just go pick up an acorn and plant it. Right? Can't you just plant the acorn?
Yeah.
Let's talk to the turf guy.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, and just mark it with the flag. This is my Arbor
But
Day
see,
tree.
he said he doesn't want to wait, though. So
Oh,
I think
true.
you probably need to
Yeah,
get
get
a
a
tree that's already
transplant.
kind of...
How long do you think that would take?
Depends on the tree.
So we transplanted an olive tree, peach tree. What was the other one?
Cherry.
Fig tree. I'm just thinking about the fruit producing ones.
yeah.
And that could take, 5 to 7 years, and that was already started.
A lot of those take a while. Fruit trees take a long time, depending on how old they are already when you plant them.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And then some may fruit early, but that's not good fruit, and you actually need to get it off of there because it'll break the branches because it'll be too heavy, and the fruit's just not good. So, yeah, that's a whole sermon.
That's a revelation.
Man, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a...
Yeah, a little John 15 revelation there,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that this guy did is like he just was like super passionate about telling people to plant trees, and I didn't like dig super hard on his life, but I was just thinking like, I mean, it says that whenever he was he died at the age of 70 on April 27th, and just a month earlier he had written that he hoped to plant trees soon as the weather turned warm. I mean, like, and that he wanted to tell people, like, this was always on his mind. So I was curious if any of you have ever felt like that passionate about something where you were actually doing it, but then also like trying to convince people, like an advocate for something that you just felt so passionate about. You're basically, I mean, this guy's entire life. I think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Anything come to mind?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I've been passionate about a lot of things, but to the point where I was trying to get others just to, I'm trying to think.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Multi-level marketing?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's funny.
Amway or...
Yeah. That is hilarious. Mary Kay.
No, not a shot. That may be good. I don't know. I don't want to throw Mary Kay people under the bus.
Oh my
here.
gosh. I don't know that we're having Mary Kay people listen to our podcast.
Yeah, probably not. You're right. A lot of them are like, what's Mary Kay? So... Darius is probably like, what's Mary Kay?
No. Now I'm gonna say this. I know Mary Kay. Not the person, but the
Sure.
but the reason why it made me laugh, and the reason why I was sitting there thinking, because I'm like, they are some of the most passionate, persuasive people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like every person that I know, it's like they will make you feel like you need,
Right.
you know. So I was sitting there thinking about like every person I know that has done Mary Kay has been very passionate.
Yeah. So I guess that type of thing, like persuasive.
The tree planting sales pitch is pretty easy, though. I mean, if you want to breathe,
plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Yeah.
You want air for your kids and your grandkids?
Plant a tree. Yeah. I didn't talk about that, but there are obviously like so many benefits from trees too. We don't have to get into all that, but
Hold up again. You said air?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I will go back to that.
Yeah.
For Darius.
I'm just saying, we don't have to spend long, but I wanted to hear.
Well, trees grow off of carbon dioxide. In the process, carbon dioxide is trees bring that in. And in return, they take that carbon dioxide and then they release oxygen.
That is.
In the process.
Obviously, we don't need the carbon dioxide.
No, we need the oxygen.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's definitely a mutual relationship.
Symbiotic.
Symbiotic.
Nice.
I was going to say
There you go,
symbiotic.
Jay. Hold up. What does symbiotic mean? So I can add that to my vocabulary.
Both parties benefit from the relationship.
Yes. Yes.
Symbiotic.
So it's like a synergistic effect. We all get better from each other.
I'm getting overwhelmed. Symbiotic and then synergistic.
Synergetic. I might be stretching it a little bit.
I
there,
like
Jay,
that though. See, these two words I can add to my vocabulary.
It's like this time right now. There's synergy right now.
Come on,
in our time.
I got you.
We're better.
And
together.
it's symbiotic all at the same time.
Look at that. You got
We
it.
a deep bag out here.
Man, so much learning going on right now.
Yeah. So like a single acre of tree can produce enough oxygen for 18 people for the entire year. If this article is correct.
For the entire year.
Right.
That's, man.
Wow.
This was cool too, and this kind of goes back to like our plant analogies, but trees also help the environment, preventing soil erosion by holding soil in place with their roots. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So they also conserve water by shading the soil and reducing water evaporation.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's one thing that I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense that the trees essentially hold the ground in place.
Yes.
Is that how you would say that?
Yeah.
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 Anything else you want to say about that?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I could get into the grass stuff too. It's not trees, but it's similar.
What do you want to say about grass, Justin?
Well, grass removes heat. so it's a great insulator in some ways. So why is turf so stinking hot? It's got that black rubber on it in the sun. It just, it's 120 off the turf.
Yeah.
But when you have grass, it's not that hot. Same temperature. So it actually like pulls the heat in. It's like a buffer for that heat. So it's not as hot when you're playing on grass.
Wow.
That's one of the cool things about grass.
It's so much.
We might need to stop the podcast.
Man, it's so much information that I guess that the average person
insulator.
does not know. I mean, I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was such a planologist. I'm just trying to sound deep here, y'all. I'm trying to fit in. I didn't know he was such a planologist, and a treeologist where he could give us all of this insight. But it's very interesting. So the grass absorbs the heat.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like it really is, because it's like you don't think about it, but it's like and then it's also, and I'm not trying to take a exit here, but it shows the greatness of God, like and how He puts purpose in everything that He creates.
Yeah,
So.
And grass. I mean, why I mentioned grass is because it's big for erosion as well.
Yeah.
That's why you have on the side of the roads, they're trying to put those carpets of seed blankets down in the grass to get it to grow. Why? Because the rain's going to come and wipe out all that clay that they just built up, and it's going to erode. So that's why you got to get grass on the side and all that stuff. It holds it all together. Root systems, all that. Yep.
I'm just going to say this to every listener out there, that Justin is way more than what meets the eye. This man knows a lot.
I was going to say something similar, but that was good.
Like I'm saying, he's already a great guy, but I did not know he had all of this knowledge packed down.
That's right.
Into man.
I'm glad I can use my major right now for
on this podcast.
Such a time as this.
Man, this is so impressive right now.
Listen, on dates in college, he'd be like, "You see this blade of grass?" Like,
golly, that's nice.
Yeah, he's like, "There's disease on this one," and there's because he's learning all this stuff.
That
this
is a point.
Fescue. This is centipede grass.
You know what? That's a point for anybody out there dating. If you talk about grass, you can get a Bethany.
Hey.
Maybe so.
And
Maybe
have a mustache when you start dating.
My gosh.
That's a win.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Well, we're here to talk about Jay Z's story, so we can table the conversations about our dates later for later. But yeah, that's Arbor Day. So Friday, 24th, the day that Darius can plant an acorn in his yard.
Plant a tree.
And say this is gonna be my mighty oak coming up. Okay, Jay Z. Sorry for all the goofiness here on the front end of the podcast. We want to get into your story. So you're currently a strength and conditioning assistant here at Mississippi State with the baseball team, cheer and dance, men's and women's basketball. Do you have a favorite?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
It's hard,
I'm not going to tell you
it's hard
that.
to pick favorites, especially out in public, but
yeah.
I could pick one if I wanted to.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. You're
welcome to say that or not. Baseball.
Is it baseball?
Plead the fifth.
Did you play baseball?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I didn't play baseball growing up, though.
Okay.
Wish I did.
They're a fun group, man. They're a fun group.
Great team. Love the staff. Love the culture they have, and excited to see what they do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Same.
So can you share with our listeners just a little bit about your story, like where you grew up, how you got to Mississippi State, anything you want to share in that regard?
Yeah, I'll try to make it pretty quick, but I grew up in a suburb of Indianapolis, Indiana. I didn't really grow up with much of a church background, really. Mm-hmm. My parents were both raised Catholic, but they never got confirmed. So I grew up going to church like on occasion. We'd sometimes go to Catholic church when we were back in Buffalo, where my parents are from. Then some of our best friends and neighbors would go to a Lutheran church, so we would go with them sometimes. Mm-hmm. But Christianity and like faith and Jesus wasn't really like the centerpiece of my family growing up. It was more about just like working hard, being a good person, like treating others with kindness, and all the basic like morality kind of things like that. So I would say I still came from like a good like moral family, but it was just like the missing piece was like the lack of like emphasis and faith in what drives everything we do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was in Indiana my whole life up until I graduated from Purdue in 2023.
Boilermakers.
Then yep. Then I got a grad assistant job, funny enough, down at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. So that's what ended up bringing me down south into SEC country. So I was there from 23 to 2025 for 2 years. I had a nice experience there working as a grad assistant in the fitness department, campus recreation.
Oh, nice.
Did my master's in exercise science, and that's what led me to this job here after I graduated from there, because I was unsure on what I wanted to do for my career still. I knew for a fact that fitness was my calling, and that's what I wanted to be in and use that as my mission field. And I saw this opportunity here come up, and at the end of the day, I was like, it's a good opportunity for me and what the Lord's called me into at the time. And it's deeper than a sports rivalry. At the end of the day, it's about what side you're on with the kingdom. And I don't care if I switch one side of a college sports rivalry. I'd rather go where I can make an impact and grow and be a part of a good community and team. And that's what brought me to Starkville for this year. And it's been a pretty transformative year, and it's been a great year. And a big part of that has been getting plugged in with FCA and getting a good sense of community here. So I really appreciate y'all for that, for bringing me on.
It's good. Now, there was a moment when you're on Ole Miss's campus visiting in your Purdue shirt.
Yeah.
And you run into somebody.
Yeah.
Quickly walk through that story and
Yeah.
how that was like a major faith shift moment there.
Yeah. So before I went to Ole Miss, I would say, like, if you asked me if I was a Christian, I would just say, like, I identified as a non-denominational Christian. But if you, like, looked at the way I was living my life and my daily routines and what I believed and what my source of truth and what my master was, like, my master was the world and my desires, my flesh. It was not Jesus, and it wasn't the Bible. So legit, my first day when I moved down to Ole Miss, I was walking around campus wearing my Purdue gear just because I didn't really have any Ole Miss gear, and I was just wearing what I had. And an older guy's like riding around in a scooter, and he sees me and my parents walking around looking like we're kind of out of place, and he like comes over and starts talking to us. Then he just kind of asked me like how I ended up at Ole Miss and what I'm going to be doing here, and I told him pretty much I just moved here today and I'm going to start grad school and start a grad assistantship at the rec and in the fitness industry. And he was just telling kind of his story about how he went to Ole Miss back in the day, and he went to medical school through Ole Miss, and now he's retired doctor, and he just lives around Oxford, and he pretty much just evangelizes out to the students and at the gym at Ole Miss that I worked at. So I had a feeling I'd be seeing him around quite a bit after our first interaction. Then I was at the gym working out the next day, and we ran into each other again, and that's where he hit me with this question that like really made me think about like where my heart and where my mind was at the time. And he asked me, what do you think true success is? But the way I answered the question, I was talking about like being happy, having a good job, being kind to people, just like the basic things that I was kind of raised up to do. And I realized there was like a missing piece in there, and the missing piece was Jesus and how he transforms our lives and changes why we do what we do. So like when he told me that, it really opened up my mind, and I was like, dang, I need to learn a lot more about like Christianity and stuff, because even if I say and identify as a Christian and I'm not like actually a part of that walk and it's not a part of my daily routine, then I'm just kidding myself. So over the next few months, I invested a lot of time like hanging out with him, studying the Bible, and eventually I got to a point where I realized I was like, yeah, I've never been like transformed, I've never been born again, I've never repented and confessed and professed that Jesus is Lord and Savior for me. So eventually, I got to that point in January 2024 on the 17th and gave my life to Christ, and it was the craziest experience ever. And just the peace and the joy and the deeper meaning and fulfillment that came after that has been like so crazy the last 2.5 years now. So it's been, such a blessing, and that's been the center of my daily life and transformed the way I think.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
That's my testimony pretty briefly.
Yeah,
Wow.
the miracle at Ole Miss right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the guy too wasn't like that, like in your face about it. Like it was over multiple conversations. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. So like at first, like we were just like he talked about that, and it opened the door for me to ask questions. But like we were still just like building a good friendship at first, just because that's definitely a good way to do things. And he's retired, and he's single now, so he's just he likes to just meet people and build friendships and do things with people. So like he was genuinely just trying to like befriend me and make my experience at Ole Miss better, and it turned into something so much deeper than that. And it's such a blessing to like look back on, and we're still in touch a lot. And
that's very cool.
He's helped me a lot through my first couple years as a Christian, and learning the Bible and what it means to die to yourself and pick up your cross daily and follow Jesus.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask you, are y'all still in contact today?
Yeah, he's still around Ole Miss and in Oxford, and we ended up actually leading a Bible study together that took place inside our campus rec center at Ole Miss.
Oh,
So
cool.
that was a pretty cool experience to get up and running.
Yeah.
And we would pretty much just host young men, like college men, and we'd have up to like 20, 30 people in there sometimes. It was a fun small group, and he got to like teach every week, and I would like run these slides up on the screen and like put some scriptures on the screen and whatever, and some visuals. So that was like a really cool way to bring ministry into the place I was working at as well there, and set that up.
How's any of that, just your own transformation and journey, like impacted your family?
I would say there's probably been some impacts, probably more than I'm aware of. It's definitely a tough topic to like talk about with my family still, because they're definitely like on the side of things where they don't want to like be super extreme about their religion or that kind of thing. And it's definitely a different culture up north too compared to like down in the south. So they're definitely like a little hesitant on some things still, but I think they do like see a difference in the way I act and treat people and try to serve others and not put myself first all the time. And especially with growing up, moving out of the house, that also helps with that too. So I'd say it's probably had some impacts a little bit, and I feel like it's helped me appreciate and love my parents truly, and not just like the conditional part, but just the unconditional part. Like, they're my parents, they brought me into this world and they did a great job raising me, so I'll love them and appreciate them no matter what. And even if we don't agree on everything, I'll still treat them the same and
That's good.
try to do what I can to make their life better still, even though I live down here.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you have some exciting things in your near future because you are engaged.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also, what is next for you once you wrap up your time here at Mississippi State?
Yeah, so I'll be starting a new job in probably mid-May with Crunch Fitness. I'll be starting off as a manager in training, then I'll be an assistant manager pretty quickly, hopefully. So it'll be kind of like what I did at Ole Miss. I was a grad assistant in our fitness department, and I pretty much helped manage our fitness department there in our campus rec center and our trainers and fitness instructors, and that's kind of what I'm going to be doing at Crunch, except I'll be more focused on like personal training and sales and just our gym as a whole. So that's kind of the job I'm stepping into. So it's
and
kind
you're
of
staying
similar
here down in the South?
Yeah, I'll be moving to Trinity, Florida. It's a little bit north of Tampa.
Okay.
It's a pretty nice little town
Sweet spot
out there.
Yeah.
So that's
we lived
what's next.
in Land O'Lakes and Wesley Chapel, Florida, just outside of Tampa,
nice.
in our first little stint of marriage
Life.
That'll be my first experience with married life.
That's
too.
right. Yeah. Hey, the beach is close. That's good.
True.
That's good.
That's true.
I had one more question before we get into the becoming secure topic. So, you're about to go back into that like rec fitness, gym fitness world, but after having your experience with teams, like, do you think you have a preference and would want to get back to like college stuff, or you just kind of, do you have a preference between the two?
I would say if I had to pick, I would definitely choose just like corporate and just general fitness. I think for me, like, I think that's where I have more of an opportunity to like really be a light and to impact more people. Like I love college athletics, and it's a cool scene, but it can be kind of limiting, especially as you work your way up and you only become part of like one team. Like initially before I got here, I thought I maybe wanted to just be like a college basketball or an NBA strength coach, but with a role like that, you're almost so invested like in your team, and your schedule and life revolves around that. It kind of makes it hard to like be out in the community, to be at a church, to serve, and to have a life and like a marriage and a family outside of your job. So that was one of the things that really like kind of hit me hard. I was like, is this lifestyle something I think I can do long term and
hours
maintain long term?
Security of job.
Yeah, job
your
security.
Coach is gone, and I hope this person likes me. Yeah, it could be challenging.
So those are the things I really had to like think about, and like think about why I do the job. Is it like, am I doing this basketball job just to like be identified as successful because I never made it as an athlete? Like, is that more of why I'm doing it, or is it actually to impact the people I'm working for?
I can totally relate.
That's a very mature question.
So like, I had to get really honest with myself and like really seek the Lord on like where He's calling me to be at.
Hear that?
I know.
So that's why I ended up choosing to go back into this field, and I also think my skill set aligns a little bit better with working like in personal training and like small one-on-one settings or maybe small groups.
Jay, how old are you?
25.
That's a 25-year-old question right there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think too with that world, like that gym world, like you will get quite a variety, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that keeps you kind of like sharp, like you got to, multiple different types of people that you're having to make plans for or whatever.
And he's also super extroverted as well. So Jay wants to talk to all people.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be limited.
Yeah.
I've seen these same 30 people every single day.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of going off what y'all said earlier too about like with the trees and like the guy who's super passionate about that. Like I would say that's me with fitness and health. So that's why another reason why I think like going into this industry, I think I can have a bigger impact because there's so many people out there who don't even exercise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like these athletes already have enough help and they have so many people out there wanting to help them. But I think there needs to be more people out there helping just the general population. And especially as people like age and your bodies slowly weaken and die over time, like it's important to do something to kind of steward your body well because that's biblical. And also just for the people, if you're a parent or a grandparent,
Somebody's got to help Darius.
Sometimes I really do wish we had a video.
I'm just jacking with Darius.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, you're not jacking with me. I am sitting here like I'm so convicted.
I'm so convicted.
No, it's a big reason behind why I want to get into that though. And I also used to post content on social media about that, and that's something I want to try to get back into and kind of transform the way my brand is and turn into like a faith-based brand and post a good mix of like fitness and health and body stewardship content and also like post some just basic biblical content to spread the gospel and spread the truth out there and make an impact in many people's lives from a distance, even
It's very cool
without being there in person.
I know he has to speak on this, but I do want to say this. It is so amazing to see somebody who didn't grow up in a traditional like religious environment, but you are so passionate in such a short time. You know, being in the South, you know, we know this is what they consider the Bible Belt. So everybody kind of has some form, for the most part. A lot of people, most people here have some form of religion. But to come from where you come from, and then to hear your story and how you gave your life to Christ and how that has started to impact what you do, and you can hear it in your voice. It's so genuine. It's so passionate. I'm just like wowed. Like I've been knowing Jay Z, talking to him, and you can see he loves God. But to hear your story, it makes it, it just makes it that much more impressive, and I'm gonna say motivating. You know, to see that you at such a young age. I can only imagine the things God is gonna do for you, because your heart is to really be a blessing, you know, and when you got a heart to be a blessing, you will always be blessed.
Bars. Man, I appreciate that though, for real. It's all glory to God, and I'm just so grateful for what he's done through me and what he's done for me and what he will do for me.
Yeah.
So before Jay-Z has another engagement, like he's got something to go do, is what I'm trying to say. We need to give him a chance to talk a little bit about becoming secure, and then we'll comment on it at the end of the podcast. But anything you want to say, any verses you want to share, just as people might listen to this for some extra content after the huddle.
Yeah, I would say, growing up, I played basketball as like my main sport. It was like, that was my idol back then. That was my everything. That's what I identified success with up until like probably my sophomore year of high school. So when I didn't make my high school team, it was like pretty defeating and like really caused me a lot of like, I was like pretty sad about it, and that was what I wanted to do. Like I love basketball, and so that was my identity, and that was where my security was. So when that like got taken away, and I wasn't on the team, but I didn't feel like I was good enough, that really like ate away at me. So that's why I kind of picked this topic, because it's so freeing to be secure in your identity in Christ and to realize that there's more to life than like what you do. Like at the end of the day, it matters like why you do what you do, and are you serving the Lord and working for him, or are you working for yourself and trying to glorify yourself? So like understanding that has helped me so much just approach everyday life with what I do. I do have a few scriptures picked out that I'll probably talk about I will have talked about at this point.
Yeah.
One of those scriptures was Galatians 1:10, and I think that talks about, am I trying to please men or am I trying to please God? So that was one thing that I wish I knew back then. Like, I was always trying to please probably like my coaches, parents, friends, people like that, please myself and what I thought of myself. Another verse, 2 Corinthians 5:17, talks about being a new creation in Christ. So like once you have that change and you realize your identity is no longer in this temporary earth, but it's eternal, and as a child of God, like it definitely takes some pressure and weight off of you, because like at the end of the day, your performance in your sport, your performance at your job doesn't define your salvation. It's what Jesus did on the cross and what he did through you. It's like, that's so freeing to know and to live in. Another one is Romans 12:1-2, which is probably top like 2 or 3 verses for me all time. Which talks about like the renewing of your mind, transforming the way you think, and finding out like what is the will of God and what is good. And yeah, at the end of the day, I can kind of tie it into the next verse, Matthew 28:19, about doing the Great Commission. At the end of the day, like we all have different gifts and talents and callings, and it's up to us to seek the Lord for those and to use those to not only like do the Great Commission and be a disciple maker, but also just provide for our families and provide for those people that we can impact. Even if we don't impact them spiritually in any way, we can at least plant seeds with the way we treat them and serve them and love on them. So those are like some of the main things that kind of secure my identity now, like with whatever I do and wherever I go.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I would say you've been an example of that in your time here.
Yeah,
we've been
Appreciate
blessed.
that.
We hate you're leaving.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it for sure.
But
been a
it's
good year.
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, be fun time. Married, new job,
Yeah.
new place, all kinds of stuff, man.
And I think that you said new place, and that made me think, like, I think that's what is so significant about being secure in your identity in the Lord, because that, like, you might move to a new job. You might, your relationship status will change. Like, all these other things have all these variables and changes. And so to put it in one variable that will change is going to make you feel that, like, a little bit lost at times. But when your identity is in Jesus, and then, like, that's not going to move or change. And so you can go move to Florida and be okay. You know, you can get married and be okay. I mean, there's still things you're going to have to figure out.
Oh, yeah.
But you have that to stand on. So, Jay Z, thank you so much for joining us today. There's so many other things that I could, like, questions that I have, but I know you got to get. So we'll kind of keep this conversation rolling for a little bit, just with some thoughts about becoming secure, because I'm sure there's some moments in our lives, too, that were formative, just like Jay Z mentioned. Those moments that kind of rattle us and shake us, that kind of make us aware of that our security might have been in something else. So we'll talk about that. But Jay Z,
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you all so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing out the year and everything.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what does being secure or becoming secure mean to you guys?
I mean, just steady. Like, I mean, security, you're set. No matter what comes, like, there is a foundation and, a structure of what holds you together. And so being secure, you're just not moved by stuff. Doesn't mean that you don't have a variety of emotions that come with things that hit. But you know who you are, how you operate, whose you are, and you can just continue to pull from that place of strength to where you can face whatever comes. That's just kind of what I think of initially.
Yeah.
I think peace. Like, you're not, like you was talking about, you're not moved, you're settled. In spite of anything external, I do believe that a lot of that is internal. Even just as JC was talking, I was just thinking about how being secure in your identity is not circumstantial. Like, whether he's here in Indiana, in Florida, because he's secure, he doesn't have to worry about. I feel like being secure in his aspect, and he's teaching us something. You announce to your circumstance who you are, instead of letting your circumstance tell you who you are. It's like, no, this is who I am. And I believe that's that's one of the benefits of being in Christ, because it's such a personal time that you have with God through His Word, through prayer, through things that we do, invested in our relationship. And what happens is, in those moments, we are convicted about who God says we are, in spite of who others or other things may not, or who they may say we're not.
Yeah.
And so I'm just hearing this, I'm thinking about a lot of different conversations that I was having this week. And I remember just making this one point. I said, I could tell it was a young man in my church who was dealing with rejection, but it was through the form of sports. And he was, we were talking about it, but I told him this: one way to get over rejection is to know you're already accepted, which comes in the form of kind of what we're talking about, being secure. I'm already accepted, and it takes the pressure. It gives you peace in spite of all of the movement around you. And so when I think about peace, I think about stability. I think about settling internally. And so it's just so many different things that I think about when we talk about that.
Yeah.
Which is such a big topic in sports, because these athletes are putting themselves in a position to fail and for these other things in their life to impact them so much. I mean, you don't have, sure, as a student, or you might be working or in these different environments where you don't make the grade that you need, but it's like student athletes have all of that plus this performance every single day, even if it's not a game. I think about these track athletes. I mean, they're supposed to be getting certain times every day, and it's exerting every part of their body. They're not, some sports you have these rests, or you're not getting the reps because you're on the sideline, you're not a starter, something like that. But like they're having to track, you're having to put your whole body, mind, everything into these reps, and you could fail at that. Like, you could have a really bad day. So now you got to deal with that on top of everything else. So there's a lot that could move you as an athlete. Yeah.
And I was thinking too, as you were sharing, Darius, about like the perspective of like, I'm going to make it one day. Like, you're always working to make it, And when that can be flipped, I think becoming secure flips that and be like, you have made it.
You've already made it.
You've already made it. Yep. You already are something.
Yeah.
And so that changes your starting point. That makes it a secure place instead of always being on, fear, or I'm not going to make it, or failure, or all these things that speak into us. You've already made it.
I think that can help you with that, like, when you do fail.
Yeah.
It's like, you did, but it's not going to, like, rock you.
Yeah. And I was thinking, too, about, like, even just the value of getting to know your gifts and discovering what you can bring and what you can bring to a team, what you can bring as an individual, no matter what situation you're in. To be able to know those things, to know who you are in that way, is always helpful.
Not constantly compare.
No, not constantly comparing and then being able to honor other people's gifts.
Yes.
It's a whole step of maturity there, being like, well, I'm not that, and that's okay. Here's what I can bring.
We the different parts become complementary.
Yeah.
As opposed to being a conflict to the person that's either standing by you. Of course, sports has that level of competition, but especially when you're dealing with teams, it's kind of one of those things where I don't have to, because we all are secure in who we are, the parts can complement each other.
Right.
As opposed to always being at odds. And so, like, when you were saying what you were saying, is just making me think about the conviction piece. Like, when I'm convicted of who I am, even if the result doesn't line up with what I know I can achieve, it doesn't bring me to the place of questioning, am I really? No, I already know. I just didn't do it this time, but it doesn't change my stance on what I know about me. And I feel like that's one of the challenges that you see in sports. And I know they talk about a lot of it is more mental than physical, because and you can see it. It's like, how is this person who's been exceptional at this goes through such a slump? And some of it you can start seeing where they're questioning. I'm questioning who I am, and it's amazing though when you can see that that switch flip, where the peace comes back. it goes back to this is not pressure. Like I remember asking Justin one time, and this is just, I'm not trying to throw him an alley-oop or anything, but I'm being honest.
Be honest.
I was asking him, looking at baseball, because being here and being around somebody who's played the sport and the level he's played, and I would ask him, like, how does it feel, going out there to pitch in the last inning, all of the game in that moment seemed like the weight is on you, and you're by yourself as a pitcher. Nobody's out there, and it's just a full count, bases loaded. And one of the things that shocked me, he was like, man, you want those moments.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I'm looking on TV, and I'm like, there's no way I would, but you're wired different, and you talked about the time you've put in. You talked about just the things that have built you for those moments. You convicted. Like, it doesn't matter if this is a full count, the bases are loaded. I'm not thinking about failure. I'm thinking about Justin just being Justin, and that was so, for me, that was so enlightening to see that, or to hear you speak from that perspective, especially with some of the things that I have seen.
Yeah. Well, thanks. But yeah, I mean, failures form that though.
Yeah.
It's because you failed or like haven't been successful that forms that. But I was thinking of becoming secure. I mean, just think about all the times that you've been insecure about something, just internally you think about that. Like, okay, that's kind of the alarm of like, okay, there's some growth that needs to happen there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about I was just thinking, how do you become convinced though of your security? Like, those are topics that you would probably hear about if you grew up in church. Most likely at some point you'll hear about identity in Christ. I just know it was really hard. I could hear those messages, but for them to be embodied and like I actually not only believe it, but I'm legitimately living from that place. I'm not even, like you were saying earlier, failure's not even in my mind anymore. Like that's not what I'm focused on. And I know for me, I tried a lot of times to like discipline my mind to think that way, but I had some formative experiences that legitimately just changed me. So it wasn't like I focused so hard on being secure that all of a sudden I became secure. It was like, I think those are the seeds that are planted, and then you go through things in life that kind of give you the option of like, are you going to believe this now? That then as you emerge from that, you become different. And so it's like you're not even having to like effort into that anymore. It's just somehow you've changed. That's a very brief, like I'm not going to go through all the instances that happen that way, but it was like an overtime experience for me because I would get very frustrated to know the truth but not be able to experience the truth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know on the athletic side, I mean, like great coaches, big part of that. Opportunities that the sports give you just in competition can help you in that spot, which is great. And then outside of sports, obviously, you can have many of those opportunities as well. But the value of people speaking into your life and calling those things out that you may not see is massively important.
I would say that too. Like, this is not sports related, but thinking of a time that, like, over a span of a few years, that felt like a pressure cooker for me, just that rattled my confidence in who I believed that not only who God made me to be, but also like I was discovering my gifts and starting to like allow myself to operate in that. And then those were being challenged at the same time. And so I was just like confused a lot. Like, I'm pretty confident this is who I am.
This? Yeah. Am I off?
But then also I'm getting this feedback that like I should stop doing, like being bold when I prayed for people in public. I'm talking about not anything that was like crazy, but it was like the expression of my faith. And like,
well, I think I'm gonna just listen to both of you all. I'm gonna combine both of the things. Justin said something a while ago about insecurity. A lot of times, I believe that insecurity in a lot of people comes from looking outwardly instead of looking upward.
Yeah,
I'm looking at what someone else is doing,
right,
and even if it's not intentional, it's a form of comparison.
Sure.
And I feel like sometimes that kind of feeds into that level of insecurity. It's like, well, and I'm just going to use an example. I'm not that good of a pitcher because I'm looking at somebody else who's throwing, I'm just saying 103, and I'm not throwing 103. So it starts when I do, it causes me to question. And then you was talking about good coaches, having great people. I do believe that is important, having the right people around, because one thing that I think we all have to be aware of is Satan doesn't want us to be convicted by who God has made us.
Right.
So he always will find some type of way to disarm or to discourage us being set in our identity.
Right.
You talked about those gifts. I've experienced some of those same things. It's like I've had people at times, and I'll just say it like this for scenario purposes. I had people who were not fast tell me not to run fast because they couldn't keep up. So now the gift that I have is causing me to question, like, am I supposed to run fast?
Right.
Because I'm faster than everybody else? No, like, so it comes down to who you're listening to.
Absolutely.
Because there's, I even had to learn this. So my wife is an introvert. I'm an extrovert. So I've had to learn, like, what I call them arm wrestling moments, where I'm not trying to cause her to be how I am and vice versa. To her, I talk too much. But to me, she don't talk enough.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's kind of one of those things where you start realizing that, going back to realizing God made us the way he made us for a reason, and the pieces are to complement. So it's, you really have to get to that place of knowing who to listen to and how to listen to them, because you're being bold like that sometimes because the enemy knows what that could produce.
Right.
Man, he will send things to hinder.
Right.
And you talking about those moments for me, like what made me realize who I was is realizing who I wasn't. Like not being me, and I'm feeling empty.
Right.
I'm feeling like I'm not.
It.
Yeah. It's
You'll
like
notice it if you're aware.
Yeah,
you'll be
it's like, no,
I'm,
this ain't me. Like I know this is appeasing you.
Sure.
But me, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not like I can tell I'm holding back, and the hold up is not from God.
Right.
It's because I'm trying to make sure everybody, but and so I for me, those moments would, at least if they don't speak to me the truth, they will let me know. Like you said, something is bring awareness, and then I would just take that to God. And over time, like God is teaching me certain things, and I feel like that's where we can depend on not only our personal relationship, but also community. Personal relationship helps you to know what is your community and what is not. Like this, so.
Yeah. In that instance where I went through that time, I did have a mentor in my life that he was speaking a lot of life into me and reminding me, and he had tracked over years with me and Justin. And so it was like in the midst of new relationships and getting mixed feedback from trusted people, like this is not just like, people I didn't know, that was causing confusion. It was very helpful to have this mentor in both of our lives in that time, to be able to, like, one thing that I realized that he did really well, that just if you were kind of like in that place of leadership and you're secure in who you are, to help other people become secure, is that he would remind me of who I was, like who he saw in me that God has made me to be, which was very helpful. But he would also just like ask really good questions for me to answer for myself. So he would say, well, how did you feel in that moment? Like when you did X, Y, and Z, like what was going through your mind? What was God telling you? What did you hear? And allow me to say it, and then help me understand maybe what happened. Yeah. And how things might have wires gotten crossed, whatever it might be. Yeah. And then like sift through the feedback. Is this something that I keep or something I just throw out and keep moving on? And so if I didn't have that help, like it very possibly could have like caused a lot more destruction.
And even the
in my
question
life.
like, how can you honor them? That was a big one he would throw in there too.
He'd be like, whenever you get mixed feedback about stuff, like how do you still honor that person?
Yeah.
And so I just think having those people are so pivotal in being able to, first of all, discover and allow yourself that space to step into maybe some areas that you feel confident are who God created you to be, but still uncomfortable. Those people instill confidence, but then even as you hear those voices that are saying, no, you can't do that, for a variety of reasons, like having those people to remind you, no, you've been doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like if somebody was watching David in the field and then at Goliath, you know, if he needed someone else to be like, no, remember, I saw you do this thing.
Yes.
All these people didn't see you do that over there, but I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I know that's in you. So they might think this is wild. This is crazy. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But like, this is who you are and who God made you to be for this moment. And so, okay, another thing I wanted to ask, and this might be our little final wrap up here, but the other day I sat Eli, our son, down, and we were talking about, he was about to present his science fair project. And I remember going to this communication school training with FCA, which is one of the most intense formative trainings I've been to with FCA. And one of the things that the guy did, he's a very good presenter. Obviously, he's teaching us how to do communication well. And after he finished, he asked us what we noticed about his presentation, like about him. And inevitably, someone always says, well, you were confident. And he was like, well, how do you know I was confident? I could have been nervous the whole time. Like, how do you... Confidence is not like a thing you do. So I think that you could say the same thing about being secure. Security is not a thing you do. But there are things about, say, confidence, for instance, that I was trying to tell Eli. I was like, okay, so when you present, what would be something that you could do that someone would perceive as confidence? Look them in the eye. Shake their hand, speak your name clearly and your presentation clearly, things like this. So if he were to do all those things, he could have been sweating, nervous on the inside, but the judge could be like, man, that kid was confident. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm just wondering for like becoming secure, like for secure things, what are things that are characteristics of a secure person?
Unapologetic.
Yeah.
Like, I am who I am. Even if they give, like what I'm just saying, like you ask for certain feedback, like just say you go and ask them, how did I do on this? They're able to give you an unapologetic answer and not overly, it's like I'm answering your question.
Right.
I'm not overly worried about how you going to feel.
Right.
Because my mindset is to give you what you ask for.
Yeah.
And those people that I've seen do those things, a lot of times they are just very secure people. It's like they don't, I'm going to say this, how can I say, they don't live for the reactions.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like what I do, how I do, it's not about the response. I am what I am. You get what I'm saying? Like I am what I am who I am, you know, and you know,
I think I told you one day in the office, I was like, you know, as people get older, I just notice older people doing things like that, you know, whether they've been through a formative process or not. Like, it's just, they reach a certain age where they're like, I really don't care.
Yep.
and I was like, I've just had this moment where a few years ago, I thought like, why do I have to wait till I'm 70 to act like that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, I do want to be tactful and I do want to be aware of other people and considerate and all those things, but just like this point of this like jockeying around to make sure like people are pleased or people at the end of the day, it's like,
so
man,
y'all have been working this ministry for years. That's why I guess my question would be to you all, like, have there ever been times because of what you just said, you feel like I really didn't help this person as much as I could have because I was too into trying to keep from running them off or making sure.
Oh, sure.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know what I can say and possibly what I need to say, but I'm not trying to, you know.
Yeah, I think that goes into your topic though about honest. Like, what does it really mean to be honest?
Yeah. I think
and
I've run
truthful
people off before. Yeah. I mean, specifically, I think anytime we do a relationship series, it tends to run some people off too. Just be honest. You know,
So-
because we're getting into purity.
Your
We're
personal
getting
life.
into a variety of things,
So
and it's getting up in some space of like, well, I'm doing some good stuff. I'm going to church and all this stuff, but how you leading this relationship is not matching.
So let me ask you this. In the aspect of, could you question your security if I'm overly focused on what they do after I be who I am?
Oh yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like what I'm saying is, instead of kind of taking the mindset that they ran off because I ran them off, was no, I was truthful with them, and that's just not the place they were in. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just, I guess I say that because, like, when you ask that question, the people that I'm gonna say this, the people that I've been around that have gotten the greatest outcomes, the greatest, like I'm saying, they was able to help the most, they just didn't care.
Right.
Like they was just, and I'm not saying they didn't care like they were condescending.
Right, or rude, or
like, like I don't mean it in that, right? No, I don't mean it in that form. I mean it, but they were so convinced of who they were. Mm-hmm. They knew their assignment. They knew, I may not do everything, but this is where I can help. This is where my strengths are. This is where my gifts are. And in the area of my gift, I got to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, take it or leave it.
And that speaks into what does security look like. It's honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty is one of those. So, like, as I'm sharing directly with somebody, I'm very honest with my own walk and journey through what I'm telling them.
Yeah.
So it's coming from experience. There's no straightforward judgment type deal, you know? Yeah. Another thing I think what security looks like is listening.
Yeah.
You know, you great listeners.
Yeah, you don't have to be that person who tells somebody stuff all the time either.
And so you think that it could be an insecurity thing of, like, you feel like, as a leader, since I'm the leader of FCA or whatever, I have to have an answer for this right now, and it's got to be. Yeah. No, you don't. And everybody can have that kind of perspective. Like, I feel like I have an answer if you're a leader in the ministry or anything. And sometimes you just don't. Just listen, and then the answer presents itself most of the time as you're listening.
And it looks like what you're saying there. You made me think of another word. It look like trust.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Secure people trust. Yeah. Like you said, this you don't have to have all the answers, and then you trust the people around you to be able to help in the area where you know you may not. Yeah. I don't have the answer, but hey, my neighbor may have it. Yeah. You know, the person I'm working with may, or I don't have to be the end all be all. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I believe security looks like trust.
Mm-hmm. And then you're not scared to get burned.
Yeah.
Because you will get burned.
Yeah.
But you're okay with that because you're secure.
Or even okay if somebody, say you are honest and you're secure and you give feedback, whatever, you're not scared if they come back and they challenge that. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I've seen that. I think Justin does that really well, like where there's follow-up conversations and he can maintain that level of like, well, the conversation can still be open. Like if something was misinterpreted, you're not scared or offended if somebody comes back and says, you did this. You can sort through all of that to get down to whatever the issue really is. I've seen that in very secure people. One of the things I was thinking too is like, I think security is, which this isn't necessarily something that you can like do, but if security and kind of wholeness kind of are kind of one and the same, where I think that really secure / whole people aren't looking to, and you were saying this, I think kind of like with the feedback or looking outward, like they're not looking to attach themselves and draw something out of someone else.
Yeah, that's good.
Like they can be okay in their own selves, and that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Right? Like I enjoy being around people, but I'm okay also if that's not the case. Like I'm not searching and looking for like, I need your emotional attention. I need your this to be okay.
Yes.
Like I'm okay.
Yes. What you said is so true, because like one of the things I had to grow through, and I want to just say this while we're talking about this, like life is a process. So people that are listening,
this
like,
takes a long time.
Yeah. like I think you said it. Justin said it one time. Formation is always happening.
Yeah.
But I say that because to your point, I grew up on many platforms, singing in front of a lot of people. But when that platform got taken away, I found myself questioning myself.
Right.
Am I not good enough? And I remember God just dealing with me was from the standpoint of, you're not secure when you need a platform to announce you. Like, I don't have to have the stage. I don't have to have the moment. Like, even if somebody else is in the moment and they're thriving, nothing of that should cause me to feel like I'm not because I'm not secure. Right. It's like my security. An insecure person needs something to announce outside of themselves validation.
Right.
And I learned that. And I'm going to say this, like, it was hard because when you done built up, what was hard for me, I built up so much of my identity on something that was movable.
Right.
That when I didn't have it anymore, I'm questioning, man, can I even sing?
Right.
Do I got to give? Like, am I good? Am I has been? Like, you go through all of these different questions, and then because you attach the activity with your thoughts, it's like, well, I can't be that good because I'm not up there.
Right.
I must not be as good as I thought and I'm saying, but it was in that place where God really helped me to get to know him and myself. Like, and it's so freeing because I can celebrate somebody else. I can push, like, that's why being here, and I'm just going to give this shout out. The place of security that I've gotten to has allowed me to really work with Jeremiah and stand back and look at his gifts. Like, and Matt playing the guitar, like, and not look at it as competition, but like, man, I can learn from them. Or, man, we all got these different things when we're putting our playlist together. You know, Mary Ashley has these songs, and that's her style. And then I got my songs and my style, and Jeremiah and Matt, and you make all of those pieces. But I know if I wouldn't have went through that season, I wouldn't have been able to be what I am right now, or experiencing what I'm experiencing. Because it was like, I have to have the moment. But no, security says, with or without a moment, I know who I am.
Yeah.
Without an opportunity, I'm sure about
I feel
myself.
like, and also too, whenever you live in that space of, like, say you did get the stage, well then whatever fuels that desire to have it, you're going to need a bigger stage.
Yep.
You're not going to be like it. So I feel like you either have two options. You have this contrast of, you can chase the stage and feel like in that you'd be content or like secure about who you are, but you're still going to have some self-doubt because it's not as big as someone else's stage.
Yep.
And you're going to chase. Or you can go through a formation process to become whole and secure, and then be like what you're saying, oh, now I can, like, learn from other people, and I'm not in competition, and I can get on a stage, but I can also sit in the crowd and be content there too.
And realizing, like, one of the things I had to realize as a minister is an audience of one.
Yeah.
Meaning, if God hearing me is not predicated on me having a mic or if I'm in my seat.
Right. Exactly.
I still can make a joyful noise unto the Lord.
Right.
You get what I mean? Like it's not about that. And I'm gonna say the blessing that I have now, because I went through the formation, I gave myself to that process. You can see people who have the platform, but they don't have the security.
Right.
It's a false sense of confidence. It's like
totally.
you moving like that, but it's because it's like when and I'm not trying to prolong, but I'm saying when I was on the flyer and everybody knew they was coming to see me, I can walk in the room because I'm on the flyer. Everybody knows. But when I'm not on the flyer, that same me, I don't have that confidence. And I'm saying, being in that industry, I saw that from a lot of people where security says God is enough. Like, if I don't have it, as long as he have me, he didn't, and I'm saying this, he may give you an opportunity to serve in those capacities, but he just didn't give you that just for that.
Right.
I didn't give you a voice to sing for you to just chase platforms. It's good enough for the platform, but you never sing to me personally. Like, that's what formation taught me. I can sing in my seat. I can sing in my car riding down the road and literally sing to God. And it helps me when I do get on the platform.
Right.
It's not about the people.
Right.
You know, they are part of the moment.
Sure.
But Lord, I don't want you to feel like I have traded you for the applause for me that should be going back to you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it
totally
definitely does.
And whenever I think the formation process is hard, but it's a gift, because even whenever I stepped away from FCA in 2019, and because I had other things in my life at the time that I wanted to invest time in, and it was just like there was just too much on my plate between like investing, helping educate our kids. I was running some long distance races. I started grad school. Like, something had to give. And one of the things, though, that was a gift about that season is that when we are so identified by the thing that we do, like FCA, it was hard because when I did step away, that question was, who am I if I'm not doing FCA?
Yeah.
You know, like, am I the same person? And so it really is a gift because you get to discover more in that process with the Lord and intimacy with Him. Like, you get to discover, like, oh, I'm more than just FCA staff. You know, I am a mom. Like, what does that even mean? I got to figure that out in this season. I am apparently an educator. Like, I got to definitely figure that one out. You know, things like that like would have been missed if I just like clung to this one thing that I thought that I needed to be or have all the time or do, you know? Yeah. So I think for athletes, a good question, and it might not hit every, you know, athlete the same. Maybe it's a different question, but just like filling in the blank, like, who are you without blank? So who are you without performance?
Yes.
Who are you without the identity of Mississippi State basketball player? Or, you know, and all of us can fill in the blank with that. But there's this verse in Matthew 3:16 through 17, and it was when Jesus was baptized, and when he came up out of the water, heaven was open and the Spirit of God descended like a dove on him, and a voice from heaven said, "This is my son whom I love, with him I'm well pleased." And so that's, you know, where his confidence, his identity came from.
Before he did a single act of ministry.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And do you know that was right before
he went to the wilderness?
Yes.
Yeah, for the temptation.
And the reason why that is so important, because God will solidify your identity before the temptation comes to get you to question who you are.
Right. And that's exactly what,
You understand? But it was before he did a single act, and before the Lord allowed him, or God allowed him to be tempted.
Right.
I'm going to solidify your identity where it's, you know,
right.
This is who you are.
And then you have a choice to make.
Yep.
When the challenges come.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
It's good.
It's good.
It's a good hang today, Darius.
Good hang.
Good hang. And it goes back to, I love Jay's question he asked when he's trying to discern on whether he's supposed to stay in athletics or he's going to go to, you know, the crunch fitness corporate type deal. And he says, am I doing this just because my athletic career did not go the way I wanted to?
Man.
Isn't that crazy? We can make decisions. I mean, that happens
great
sometimes
question.
consciously, but sometimes it's these
But
subconscious
see,
thoughts.
There is an awareness that Jay has from just walking with the Lord.
Yep.
And so as you continue to grow in that space and with the Lord and with the people that are around you that are going to tell you the truth, and that you're going to see them walking these things out in security, you're going to those questions will come. And it's formation. We've all had good examples, maybe not good examples, but like we've had things that have happened that have pushed us to the brink in these spaces, and the Lord's been really good to us in that. And so
and what is that verse? I know it's talking about temptation, but it's like there's always a way out.
Yeah, there's always
so
a way
I
out.
think to me that just communicates there's always a choice. Like you can either choose to believe who God says you are, or you can continue to wrestle with like fear of man, what people say, feedback, who I am.
And that's a
all that stuff.
never-ending road.
It's
It's
exhausting.
Yes, it's never ending.
So it's like either choose the treadmill of exhaustion that is all that, or go through formation so that you can come out the other side where you don't have to run on that treadmill. Like, I just don't even think there's any middle ground. Like, it's either or. Like, here are your choices, you know? Well, it's been a good hang, as we said. I listened to another podcast, and sometimes they're like, this episode's hot. Like, this show is hot.
Wow.
And so I think this is a hot episode. I hope
hot trees.
Come on.
that
trees.
grass absorbs all that heat. But thanks for joining us today. We hope that this encouraged you in some way. But we look forward to just chatting next week, and we'll see you then.
Yeah. Happy Arbor Day.
Happy Arbor Day. Thanks for listening to the Created to Be podcast. To learn more about FCA at Mississippi State, visit www.msufca.org and follow us on Instagram at HailStateFCA_. If you would like to become a financial partner, visit www.fca.org/donate to sow into the work God is doing through FCA at Mississippi State.